Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. We were 2-0 up. We ended up drawing 2-2. Oh, damn away form. I'm joined by my brother Kahinde, and we're just going to be doing a post-match show. Damn it. Yeah, man. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's late. Damn, 2-0 up. Threw it away. Simple as that, really. Big up, bro. How you doing, man? I know you watched it on BT Sports. Yeah, we're going to go into the game. We're going to talk about the team selection. We're going to talk about the performance as well. And player ratings. And, yeah, just what's going on with our away form this season. First of all, bro, I want to say hi to Jeff, one of the best refs in the US of A. He says, really upset, no fire, second half, till Spurs scored. Why does Weghorst, he does nothing, leave Anthony on. If you're not going to play Pelestri, is faster, defends better, and controls the ball better. These are points I want you to think about, bro, because I want to touch on that as well. Good shout, Jeff. Big up to Box as well. Maguire was terrible today, he said. Clearly not playing. Jeff again is saying, if I don't, as Pelestri's watching worthless, thou get picked, I would be begging to leave. Where is Eric Ten Hag that played the kids at Ajax? Oh, my days. All right, let's go into this, man. Bro, I know you watched the game. Big up to everyone who's tuned in. Make sure you press the subscribe button as well. Just quickly, bro, how's your day been, man?
Yeah, all right, man. Teachers were on strike today, so I wasn't at work. So I just had an appointment. Check on my knee.
Okay. Is your knee growing?
I've got a scan coming up, so I'll get to know what's wrong with it.
Have you seen that guy on TikTok who does I'll show you Calvin, his name's Calvin something. I'll show you, he does this thing when he's in the supermarket and he goes up to people and says, "Oh, I've got a bad," he's limping around, and they say, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" He said, "I've got a Negro." Anyway, you have to
jokes,
yeah. You have to watch it. Emma's saying here, why do we do that to ourselves? Fred's cameo was one of the worst plays I've ever seen. Says Box. Big up to Ryan. How you doing, Ryan? He says need to do better seeing games off. Bruno has to score that. Oh my God, yeah, Bruno has to score that chance at 2-1. Just like Sevilla at home. Total control, 2-0 up, didn't take our chances and lost the lead. That's what happens, man. Man United saying here, Man United doing a Spursy against Spursy. Unfortunately, we're miles apart, miles away from the top spot. Why does Ten Hag play negative football once we score a few goals? These are questions I want you to think about, guys. We'll come back to them. Martial, awful. Weghorst did better than him, says Box. Interesting, that. I'm not sure. Casemiro has been poor since his return. Oh, my God. Casemiro is very poor. Oh, God, they're all going in right now. Man United can't deal with pressure. Coughed up the ball so easily in the second half. Past the Fred was shocking. Big up, Rebel. Hope you're doing well, man. And the Pops. Brian saying, evening, lads, what a disaster. Being the story of the last few weeks. Should have finished the game off the first half. We let Spursy back in. Box, at least we tried. Weghorst did nothing. Fred tried. Weghorst did nothing, he's saying here. Lost a lot of balls, Casemiro. Okay, Martial jogging around. He's been sat on the bench, do something. All right, let's talk about the starting lineup. I mean, look, I was shocked Bruno was back. I written him off. I heard he had a bad injury. He wasn't going to play. Let's look at the starting lineup, bro. So he's gone again with basically the same team, apart from Martial, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Lindelof, and Dalot. And now, how's Malacia feeling right now? Because he seems to be sort of third, fourth choice left back now.
Well, you know, that was the team that won last time, the back four that won last time. So I wasn't surprised about that lineup. And Malacia's got to wait longer for his chance to get back in because he wouldn't do well again today when he came on.
Okay, and in midfield, we were discussing this. We were just going, we had shows this week talking about Bruno being out, but obviously he was in. So he's gone with Eriksen and Casemiro. Would you play Sabitzer or Fred starting with any of them?
No.
Okay, fair enough. And Serge Knight on the show. He's joking. Give Serge Knight. Don't smile, Zico. Don't smile. Just be mean at Serge. Yeah. You're going to get your address, Man United, and come for you because people call him Uncle Phil and Serge Knight now. It's not right. Big up on one day. He says, Eddie, how you doing, Eddie? Go and check out Eddie's channel, man. There it is, Eddie Football Waffle. United lost a 2-0 lead, and we still have a 6-point advantage in the league over our nearest chasers as well. Newcastle won as well. I would have taken Sancho off. I agree. We'll come to all this. Thought he's way better than Rashford on left. Our starting front line was quite good today. All right, big up everyone in the chat. We're going to go. We talk about team selection. Obviously, Rashford for Martial. No issues with that. Playing Rashford. He's quite...
No issues.
Okay. And Sancho starting. You could have put Weghorst and put Rashford on the left. I think the manager on the right with the starting lineup then, overall.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Here we go. So remember all these points, guys. I'm going to come back to them if you can. I blame the loss on points and Ten Hag for playing negative football second half. Or maybe it's a point that Tottenham came out and really put it on us. Rashford, apart from the goal, seemed to lose every dribble, every ball, every physical duel. And says box and poor substitutions today. So those are 3 main points. All right, let's talk about the performance, guys. First half, 6 minutes gone. We worked a chance, and it was a ball played in between the lines from Lindelof into Rashford, who came deep, peeled off his defender to get the ball. He come inside, played it wide to Sancho, who got it out of his feet, had a wicked overlapping run from Eriksen, and he cut it onto his right foot and just curled it into the goal. Let's talk about that goal, bro. What do you think about that? A great start, wasn't it?
Yeah, happy for Sancho that he got that goal. You know, we've been looking for him to do more things like that because he's got the quality everyone knows. It was like a kind of a snapshot. It was a bit of surprise. It had a bit of an element of surprise, the shot on it, you know, because when Sancho has the ball, you don't really know which way he's going to go, and normally he passes it, but he cut in, shot, and it went well for him. It's good. It's a good start.
Great start. I mean, it's good for his confidence as well, is it, Sancho? Because he's been getting pelters lately. People saying maybe even sell him at the end of the season. How do you feel about that, with Sancho, the situation with him?
No. I think Ten Hag believes in him, and he's going to be patient with him. I believe that. Yeah.
Okay, Emma's saying here, I saw it as Ten Hag telling them to sit deep and play counter in the second half. But we'll come on to that. Sancho had another chance early on in the game where he had a double shot, which got blocked. First one was blocked, and the second one blocked off the line. So in this first half, how do you feel we were playing? Because to me, it looked like we were sort of controlling it, slow at the back, building it up as a team, and then getting into nice areas. We were camping them back, trying to play through them, literally. And we were really comfortable.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
We were. I felt that we were dominating. Eriksen and Bruno really pulling the strings, and you know, Sancho and Antony just doing their thing. It must be a bit of a nightmare when they're like that. They could just stop, cut in, play, and Spurs were just a bit all over the place. They didn't really know where to go, who to mark, and we controlled the first half. It was really good.
Just saying here, Kahinde, he's saying that Emma, we had tons of possession. We did nothing with it except for the one time Bruno ran through, and that's throughout the whole game. I mean, we did have possession. Do you think we're getting more control of games in a way? I'm trying to look at some positives here. I mean, this is Tottenham.
No, I think this was really a game of 2 halves. In the first half, I thought we were really good. We dominated. Second half, I think Spurs were the better team, and we had a chance to really kill the game off with Bruno. He should have really scored. We did well to get through. You know, take it around the player. But had he scored that, I think the game would have been dead. But Spurs were better in the second half. They really pressed us and put in some really dangerous crosses.
Okay, because Bruno also had cross from the half space for Rashford in the first half. Of Rashford, I don't know. It reminded me so much of the goal Ronaldo scored against Tottenham at the same ground last season, where the ball was crossed and he volleyed it in. And similar to that, Rashford had a volley, but the keeper came out and it could have just easily gone through his legs. This is the first half, mind you. And I felt we could have been 3-4-0 up with the chances that we were creating.
We could have. Had we got the third one, it would have been game over. But I knew Spurs would come out strong in the second half.
So, yes, man. How you doing? Yes, man. Yeah, cool, man. It's funny calling you someone like, yes, man. Yes, man, I agree with you. Yes, man. Very weird manager. I don't agree with that, but this is his comment. Big up to Yes, man. Welcome to the channel. I know the manager's getting a few sort of negative comments in the comments here. Michael High Hill, how you doing, man? He's saying here, we're losing in midfield when we took off Eriksen. Very good point. Though thought Fred would give us more legs, but he was bobbins. He was falling out with Sabitzer. Has he fallen out with some bits and making poor and kept looking to open in the break second half, I think he's saying there. Eric Ten Hag is trending on Twitter, only means one thing. Oh, God. I mean, they're talking about Arteta out just for losing the title yesterday or almost losing the title. Fans are really fickle, aren't they? Why take Eriksen off and Weghorst on? Interesting that. We'll come to that in a minute. Only 8 likes. Turn it up, guys. Let's get some more comments in it. Keep your comments coming. I will read them out. Martial looked leggy today, says Michael Hill. Do you want possession or not? Do you just kick the ball around for a while, quite a while when play with possessions and wait for the opposition to make room, says Emma K. And yes, the man saying here, these lot just got slapped 6-1 the game before this by Newcastle. And Eriksen is just coming back from injury and he's done. So, yeah, there you go. So going into half-time, we're 2-0 up at half-time because Anthony and Bruno played long ball to Rashford. And, Rashford, we were deep in our half. Anthony and Bruno were working back. Then the ball got played out to Bruno. He played it into the space in behind, which is perfect for Rashford because he loves to run onto things like that. And he really took the goal well. I think Dyer, as in defending. People complain about Maguire and things like that. Dyer's used to be an international. And Rashford just used his pace, took on his left side and slotted it home. I mean, great goal. 2-0 up just before the end of the first half, bro.
Yeah. Rashford showed good composure there. He just took it away from Dyer, and then he was confident on his weaker foot to just smash it in. Dyer, I liked him as a player. I preferred him as a midfielder. I don't know why he's playing centre back because he's got more to his game than that. And but he just got exposed by Rashford's pace. And Rashford could do that to anyone 1-on-1, really.
Yeah, fair enough. No, you're right there. I'm just looking at him as a defender. I'm thinking this is the England international. I know people look at Maguire, he's in the spotlight and say the mistakes he made, but Dyer got nuts by Bruno. He seemed a bit off the pace, looked like he's struggling out there. And I think that's down to pace and just maybe being a bit too heavy. The defenders these days need to be a bit light on their feet and quick. We saw Akanji the other day. I don't know what you thought about his performance, but he
didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah. And it's really interesting that because I'm thinking now the model for defenders, you have to be able to sort of over 6 yards, be quick to match these strikers. You can't be a pudding at centre back, I don't feel. Yeah. And Dyer really got exposed today compared to Romero, who can get about a bit more light and can move around a bit more. Zoe saying, remember the days when fans were banging on saying Dyer?
I would have wanted him back then. When we had Mourinho, he would have been perfect.
Fair enough.
And I think, in midfield, he's a different player.
Fair enough. Jeff saying here, Emma, second half, our forwards and midfield just standing around the penalty area, taking away our ability to run in behind, too congested. All Shaw and Lindelof could do is pass it around. And Emma saying here, early in the season, Ten Hag didn't really rotate, use the squad, and you wanted him to, and now he does it. You're complaining. We have a weak squad. He's working miracles. Emma's always defending. I like Emma. She's always defending the team. Second half, bro. Look, man, what's going on in the second half of this performance? Seems like Tottenham, getting Mason or whatever his name is, the manager, has gone in there and really given them the hairdryers treatment because they came out and they put it on us straight from the start in the second half. And obviously after 10 minutes, they scored. Just to run us through that goal because they were like, I thought it was another scramble in the box from them whipping in crosses.
Yeah, we're having trouble in those wide areas. Just the way they were stretching us and they were putting in really good balls. Like every one of their crosses were dangerous.
Yeah,
hard to deal with, and we soaked up the pressure. We kept soaking it up, and you could see the goal was coming. I was hoping it was going to get disallowed. I was hoping like Richarlison was obstructing De Gea, but that wasn't the case, and they scored from it. So
good finish though, wasn't it, by Poro, their new
signing? Yeah, it was.
He came in January, didn't he, from Sporting? But beyond that, I was looking at him today thinking, all right, what's he got? Has he got anything? I don't really feel that he was. I didn't see anything that said he's better than any of our right backs. I don't think he's better than Hello. Don't think he's better than Wan-Bissaka. It's interesting that because we're always complaining about our players when we look at what other teams around us are buying. I don't think, he's. Well, I might be proved wrong, but from what I saw today. So a minute later, we just conceded. It's gone to 2-1. This is where this move came in. Where this is what I'm saying about. Sometimes you can be a bit lethargic and when you're playing, you've got too much possession. You've got to have that killer instinct sometimes with all that possession you have. And that chance by Bruno where he hit the crossbar, man. I mean, Ericsson and him had a little dummy or something, got played into Bruno in the box. Dyer comes rushing out. He had a composer just to nuts him in the box. And then he hit the bar, man, from there. Come on, man.
Yeah, I kind of understand why he would have missed, because the keeper was so close to him that he felt that he needed to lift it over the keeper, otherwise it's going to hit the keeper. So that's probably why he overhit it and hit the crossbar. But he done so well with that move on Dyer. That was deceptive. You didn't think that was coming. Even though he had that in his locker, that close control. And he could have even rounded the keeper, or, even after that. But it's just unfortunate. But when he did miss that, I thought, I knew where the game was heading. I thought, in football, you don't take your chances, you get punished. And
that's so true, bro. Because even Jim Mack saying here, you could smell that result after 50 minutes. And it was the 55 minutes they scored. And then a minute later, that Bruno chance, which really could have buried them, all their momentum. And the fans got behind them after that, didn't they? Emma's saying here, that's what you do when you're playing possession football. Stand around a lot, walk a bit, and just kick it about. It's effing boring. What to say? Big up Brian again. He's saying we sat back in the second half like the game was won and let Spurs back in. Then at 2-1, Ten Hag felt he had to make changes. But look at the bench we had. There's no depth, no quality. This is what Arsenal was saying yesterday. Next 2 games are hardest, and then the last 5 we'll win. We get top 4 easy. I say, okay. I think I just want to talk about this because I think it's not a case that we dropped off. I just felt that we weren't. You have to be clinical in the first half. When you're on top, like you're just saying there, we could have been 4-0 up in the first half with the chances we created. We really bossed them. My thing is, you have to, once you got your foot on someone's neck, you don't take it off. You got to go out there and say, right, let's get another 2 goals and let's keep going at this. Because sometimes you get complacent. Right, we're in control here. We're doing well. It's okay. But when they turn it up, it's hard for you to turn it up as well. It takes about 10 minutes for you to turn it up. And then you make subs. And then you have to start all over again. And it's like it takes 10, 15 minutes for these subs to have any impact or the shape to have any influence. So it was really tough. Just really unfortunate the way things went against us with that respect, Jeff saying here, Bruno missed was a bad omen. Our poor finishing has killed us. Yeah, all round, I agree. And I don't think we dropped off. I just think it was a mental thing today, a real mental thing, why we allowed them back in. I think from the off, you can see what they were doing. They were going in hard a couple of times. I see a few guys like Ra, they're going to ground, trying to get the tackles in. Even Kane, Hulberg in midfield, really crunching tackles, really going in for it. And that's the best they could do. But we had the quality. But then once they turned it up and then we've got the momentum, added with that intensity and going in tough, it was hard to get back in that, man. I'm just really disappointed to throw away a 2-goal lead. We did it against Seville the other day, didn't we, bro?
Yeah. Again, I mean, the Seville result, when we threw away a 2-goal lead, I talked about the changes Ten Hag made. And again, I think it's the same thing again today. I don't know what it is. Like, you've got to kind of judge the flow of a game. And I said this the other day about Ericsson, how to manage him and what sort of game he's good for and what game he's not good for. And I just felt that with Spurs, they allow you time on the ball. So I would have kept Ericsson on.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not like Brighton where it's like pressure. And, so that was a good game to keep Ericsson on because, him and Bruno is pulling the strings. Now, when he brought Fred on, like I said, I don't like, obviously Fred didn't do well. He didn't get into the flow of the game. And it's because we couldn't progress the ball with Casemiro and Fred. Casemiro wasn't on his best game, and those two couldn't really progress the ball. So if they can't progress the ball, those two, it's like they're blocking themselves and the pressure goes more on us.
Yeah.
And this is where the game changed. And I just think with Ten Hag, he's got it's like he feels that he has to bring these players on. Every time he does 2 subs at a time. And that's what I don't like. You've got to just bed it in slowly. All right, if you want to bring them on, just 10 minutes and just wait. But bringing on 2 subs at a time is really tough for the players today to get into the flow of the game. Pressure game when it's 2-1, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just kept it the way it was for a while, and then maybe the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just
So the subs were Fred for Eriksen, Martial for Sancho. I don't think Sancho should have come off. I think like you're saying what people would cuss Sancho to say whatever about him, but what I found today, he didn't give the ball away. He gave it to him in the wing. He might not be penetrating or running. You look for something, nothing on. He will make sure the team retain the ball. And in a situation like today, he give him the ball, he run with it, dribble it, keep nice tight control, and then keep possession for our team, and we can sort of recycle and start again. That's why I think Sancho is really effective. And this is what people don't really give him respect for or realize the impact that has on a team under pressure like today. Give Sancho the ball, give Eriksen the ball, like you're saying, in those spaces where are not being closed down. He can dictate and slow the tempo to our pace. Give it to Sancho wide. He's not going to do like Rashford today and just drive and give the ball away when people are trying to get forward as well, and suddenly we have to run back. I think Sancho, we have to understand what he's doing positive and what's positive about his play. Don't not just think, oh, Garnacho does this and runs forward and that's exciting. It's not about that. Do you understand what I'm saying? As we saw today, it's about management of a game. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, like I just said, like when we take off Eriksen, who keeps possession, and Sancho was keeping possession for us on the left, because this is what he does. I would hate playing against him because he could go either way, and he holds up the ball and he just keeps possession and just tires you out. Now you put Rashford on the left from playing from striker, then you put him to the left, and you know what he does. He just runs into blind alleys. He just sometimes when he's in that position. So it's just like our two best players that were keeping the ball, we took them off, and we had Fred and Rashford who were just not keeping the ball. So it's just inevitable.
And to add to that, we brought in Weghorst. Now, I was a big endorser of Weghorst. I'm never ashamed to say I was wrong, whatever, but I thought he would offer more. I thought he would do more. I'm looking at him now and I'm saying he's not really doing much for us. He came on the pitch today in a sort of just behind the striker, which would have been Martial. Rashford was on the left at one point and Bruno went to the right. And I just felt this guy's ineffective. He's not really doing it. Even when he's trying to play out of his feet and all this kind of thing, I was thinking, this is not fluent. It's not working. It's a disappointment because whereas before we were controlling, dominating, I didn't see that same sort of feel when he was on the pitch in a key position. Everyone wants to be a number 10. Everyone wants to be the creative force and have that ability playing that number role. When we get our kit out and we said, right, grab your shirt, everyone's looking for number 9, number 10. These are the numbers that you want to play. A number 10, Pele, Maradona, Platini. It's a beautiful role. It's a beautiful position. And he's able to play it, but he's not giving us that creative force, I don't feel. All he's giving us is running power, as in not quickness, but just closing people down with his height and not even winning flick-ons too much, not even being that physical. So today, I've kept my mouth shut, but today I'm like, nah, I'm not happy with him, and I'm going to voice it. What are your thoughts on this Weghorst situation, man? Do we keep him, or do you think he's effective at all? Because he's not doing it for me.
No, we definitely don't keep him. Okay. He's definitely a good short-term solution to have on loan. But again, like I say, it's just about judging the flow of the game and when to bring players on. And this was not the game for him to bring on. We should just kept him on the bench today. He doesn't have to come on. This is the thing about Ten Hag. It's like it's like he always does the same substitution, which is take off Sancho and put Rashford on the left. He always does the same thing. I'm saying you don't have to do it. Sancho's having a good game. He's got confident. He got his goal, and he did it again today. But Weghorst is just ineffective. Like we weren't needing a goal at 2-1. We weren't chasing a goal. And he's not going to be a threat to us. He's got that's Spurs. The game for Spurs today is like you need someone up front who's going to press with the pace and break the lines, and he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I just thought again, it's regressing, and putting pressure on us.
Yep.
These substitutions.
Just a few comments here. What do you think of this? Sancho's goal. He has that in his locker to do every game. Just got to give him the support. That's from Zoe Media House. Go and check out her YouTube channel. Big up, Zoe. Hope you're doing well. Jimmy Mack saying here, Fred brought the mistakes and sloppy passes. That also brings confidence to the opposition. Yeah, it does. It doesn't take much at this level to let.
He didn't complete one pass. That's what I'm saying. It was just
Jeff saying Veghorst has to go. He's worthless. And Veghorst, no, he didn't. He switched positions with Anthony, and nothing came down the left attacking wise. There you go. Anthony Tate coming off as well. I think you got to just what's working works well, and I'll just go with that. Obviously, they scored. I don't talk about the goals. They scored a late goal, 79 minutes, and then it's like, we knew we just weren't going to get back into it. So let's do rewatch man of the match. Saying here, let's rewatch the game and see what we feel. But second half, first half was totally different. Let's talk about player ratings, guys, because the keeper made a few good saves. But still, I can only give him really 6. Nothing he could have really done with the goals, but there was a couple times where I thought he was too weak. There was balls coming in the 6-yard box, and he couldn't get the one guy headed it and just went over the bar. I think that would have been a goal.
Carlson,
All you do, it's your area. You got to say keepers and just clear house. Keepers, ball, elbows, everything.
That's what I say all the time, because look, as a defender or as a striker, I'm going to be scared to go in with my head if the keeper's got their hands out like that.
Yeah,
you dominate that ball. You've got the advantage. You get to use your hands, your fists. Do it, man.
So I'm going to go with Jeff here. I'm actually going to lower my score to a 5 because things like that just really upset me. He's kicking today as well. He was just kicking it long. They weren't trying to play out from the back.
There's a few close ones, man. It's not. There's no conviction. It's like the short ones. He could have made a mistake again today.
Okay, defense. We had Wan-Bissaka. I thought he played decent today. I gave him a 7. The left back with Dallo. I thought he'd done as well. Done all right. Give him a 6. He was getting up and down, getting in good position, learning position, making good runs. A couple of times I felt the players didn't pick him out because he was Dallo, and they're thinking, let me pick out a forward or a striker when he was better, the best man on. So Wan-Bissaka played really well for me. I'll give him a 7 while he was on the pitch. Lindelof was about a 7 as well. I thought he'd done okay, and the two of them. But Luke Shaw for me was man of the match clearly today. I'm glad you said that, because I was just watching him for his performance there and thinking, wow, especially first half, and then the second half, he's like Martinez. He's the one getting the ball, being a quarterback, and just pinging balls around. He's got that ability to do that. And you think, all right, he's not really a centre back, but he's defending like a centre back. He's reading the game like a centre back. It's probably easier for him because when he's at left back, he's getting situations where it's tight. He has to watch the line, has to do everything. Now he can sit back, see the whole game, scan, and sweep. And he's got the pace to sweep and get to pick up pieces like that. So I think he's done really well today. And for me, he's the man of the match performance. Defense, just run it by me, bro.
I would agree. I was going to say 6s, but I agree actually with you. I thought all the defenders did really well. So I'm going to give the whole defense a 7. I'll give De Gea a 6. I've given Luke Shaw 7.5 because I thought he was bossed it today, strolling. We've never lost a game when Luke Shaw's played centre back. He's always just come in and just being comfortable and he just reads the game well. He doesn't have the height or the stature, but he just really reads the game well from there. So it's good to have the option, another left-sided centre back with Martinez, and we could have Shaw there. So I'm really happy with the way he played.
Jeff here saying 7 for Wan-Bissaka, 6 for Dallo. Shaw gets a 7 and Lindelof a 6. This is fair. Agree Shaw was man of the match, Jeff, with a 7 for Jeff.
Nothing about the goals. I thought everyone.
Yeah, true. Thought Anthony should have been taken off first, says Emma. He was a bit out of the game. And Shaw broke up Spurs lines like 10 times. Brilliant observation there from Jeff. He did. Certainly did. He's got a left foot one, Diaz. A bit underrated. Anyway, midfield, we had Casemiro and we had Eriksen in the first half. And obviously Fred came on. Fred done poor. He's -5, which is below average for me today when he came on. But Eriksen and Casemiro, I know people are saying a few comments about Casemiro, but I thought the difference maker is he gets the ball at his feet and he can spray passes instantly. Crossfield passes, open things up for us. It's because we're slow, gets it in, bump, pings it into feet, pings it through the lines, pings it. He's got that ability. He might not have had the best of games, but it shows. I don't see McTominay, Fred doing that. So he's like, I can see the advantage of him. Eriksen dictates tempo, does really well, one pace, but goes around the pitch, linking up with people, very intelligent player, and I thought he was brilliant as well. So I'm going to give them both a 7. I know people will get on Casemiro's back for some physical duels he lost, and just sometimes being out of position a little bit. But otherwise, he got up for headers. Could have scored right at the end there. I just think he's an all-round player. I just rate him as a player. but today wasn't the best performance. And then Bruno as well. I thought Bruno done really well. Obviously, he really tries hard. I'm so great that he was there today. Imagine him not being in prison. So I'm going to give Bruno a 7 as well. I'm going to finish it up now. I'll let you finish up, Zeke. Anthony, I thought Anthony done all right. He gives us that right balance. We can give the ball out to him. He can hold it up, bring people to the play. In the first half, especially, we saw the best of him. Obviously, something might have deteriorated in the second half because of the pressure. Didn't have enough of the ball. And then Sancho, I thought, was a 7. I thought Sancho played really well today. Rashford scored the goal. Great finish. But once he had to go on the left and he wasn't getting so much of the ball, sometimes he does this thing, celebration. I just felt today it was like back to 2020 and where he was making poor decisions and running into traffic.
Well, that's the irony. He's pointing to his head, but he wasn't using his head when he went.
There you go. You finish off with midfield and attack, and I'm going to go through the comments.
I'm going to give Casemiro a 6. I don't think he played like amazing. Like he didn't have his best game. Didn't play him again. It's like he does better. His bad performance is always better than McTominay's because he's able to spray it out of his feet, and he gives you that assurance. His positioning is much better. You know, even though he looks like a pudding, but his positioning is better. He's got that assurance, anticipation. So he did all right. But I think we definitely need to buy someone to put pressure on him next season because he's not going to be able to play every game with consistently high rate. Eriksen, I'll give him a 7, spraying ball. I love it when Eriksen and Bruno are together. Yeah. You know, the way them two link up, I have to give Bruno a 7 as well. Thought he did really well. Probably should have scored. Anthony, I'll give him a 7 because again, it's the work rate, and that's why I always think when I watch these wingers, are they asking enough questions of the defenders? Are they keeping them on their toes? And he always does that, even if he doesn't get the perfect cross or whatever. He's draws guys out and helps split defenses. Sancho 7 again with the goal. Thought he was playing really well. I don't know why he came off, to be honest. And Rashford, I have to give a 6. I just want to touch on Martial and Malacia. Malacia, I'm going to give a 5 because he was out of position for the second goal. He just looks like every time he just looks worried and anxious. I think he's a guy that needs to start games and build confidence. It's hard to come on in a defensive role. But he was out of position and he's always running back. He needs to make sure he's anticipating a bit more. Yeah. Martial, I'll probably give a 6, 5, a little bit.
Yeah, some people in the comments accusing Martial of strolling out there, just not looking sharp.
He's not looking at his sharpest. I agree with that. But he's someone that he needs to start games. Like, it's hard to come on and do well in a game like that, and I just don't think the substitutions are smart. Vegas, I'll give a 5.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Hopefully, it's disappointing. I mean, what is it a mental thing we don't win away from home? Let's talk about our away form, because against like top flight clubs, even the top half clubs, I think we've only beaten Fulham away from home. What is it here? What is the issue here? When you coach your team, you take them away from home. Is there a difference for you? Is there expectation that oh God, we're away, we might not get the result? What do you think is going on with Manchester United this season? Because the previous couple of seasons, we were unbeaten away. We couldn't lose for a love of money, So what's the issues here? What do you break it down to? And what factors are at play?
I think if I'm reflecting now, like a lot of the times, we might have a good start, but the second half we fade a bit in away games. And whenever someone's playing away, the home team's always going to have that 12th man. They got the crowds, the extra pressure, and I think we just got to manage the game better when we're away. And that is on Ten Hag about doing the right substitutions at the right times, not doing 2 substitutions at a time, and just look at the flow of the game and manage the game well. We lost at the last minute to Arsenal, didn't we? 3-0, 3-2 in the away game. We were 2-2. So we dropped points. We should have got a draw there. We should have got a win today.
Yeah.
Like you say, we've only beaten Fulham. It's just about managing the game a bit better. But I think I'm going to say it again. Squad depth, we need to improve because we could start with Eriksen and Casemiro, but we've got to bear in mind they're 31. They're not going to be able to play consistently well throughout the season. So we got to bring in 2 quality midfielders who are going to put pressure on them and who've got the legs.
Yeah.
And once we do that, we will have to see out games a bit more.
Okay, so things do the squad depth, and we've played in other competitions this year. Yeah, I think also as well. I think I'm not criticising the manager. I think sometimes we need to be a bit more conservative. We're 2-0 up, for example. We're going out in the second half. We know the team talk will be they're going to come at you, lads. Make sure the first 10 minutes. What you would say this as your coach, you would say this when you first 10 minutes, keep it tight, boys, and then we'll start playing again and control the game. Don't get yourself out of position. Don't get ahead of the ball. These are the sort of things you would be saying to your team. I just feel sometimes we're not conservative. People are making runs when you don't need to. Manage the game. You know what I'm saying? Manage the game. You're 2-0 up. We start with 0-0. Everyone's got a point. We got to a stage away from home where we're 2-0 up. And now he's got to say, even the players on the pitch have to say, guys, all right, you make that run, but I'm not going to pick you out. Let's just start again and recycle.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple moments where we were popping it around, just waiting for them to engage because we were just trying to keep the ball, not trying to push forward so much. But I just feel it's another result away from home where the players have to take some accountability for this, for on the pitch. Because if I'm on the pitch, I'm like, slow down. All right, ease up. Pass back, home. Let's start again. You know, that's the kind of conversation you want to be having on the pitch, isn't it? You know, when we play, don't rush forward. People with mindsets like get the ball, go forward all the time. We play with players like that, don't we? We're always saying to them, come home, start again. Nothing on. Why are you trying to play the percentage pass, which is home, or the nearest person to you? Why are you trying to pick out man over there or switch to play? You ain't got the ability. You don't want to say that to a man, but sometimes, you know, don't do that. Just play as a team. We'll manage this game and see it out. So I want to hear someone on the pitch, whether it's the defenders or whatever, saying, or stringing someone up saying, why are you going there? Come back, start again. Let's recycle, even if it's boring. Look at the Italians. Look at the great Italian teams of the 80s. 1-0 up, they say Juve was 1-0 up, game over.
Yeah.
They scored the first minute, they would say game over because they would manage that game. That is in their mindset. We defend. You ain't going to get nothing, not sniff out of us now. True?
It's true, but again, I like I say, I got to go back to the manager because he's putting on these substitutions. I think back in the day, you only allowed 3 substitutions, right? And they've changed it to 5. And I think that's made a lot of managers overthink because they want to put those 5 players on, but we don't have to. Like I think the stupidest one was Malacia today. The back 4 were playing well. Why do you have to bring them on?
Right. So you're having a slight pop at the manager, his decision making.
Yeah. Because I know it's hard because I've been there, man. Like, and I've had to coach and do this in America where I have to keep the parents happy and bring loads of players on when I've got 5 or 6 subs, and it disrupts the game. But if you're on a results based and you just want to win the game, you have to manage the game like it's a cup final and not just try and keep everyone happy by bringing them on.
Yeah.
Something we wanted to touch on, I know you said it earlier in the show, Palestri.
Yeah.
I feel that Ten Hag wants to force him out.
Talk to me.
So, you know, I've watched him. I thought at the start of the season, let's sell him, you know, because he's been on loan a couple of times. He hasn't scored a lot of goals and done great. But when I've been watching him play for Man United, his performances, I'm thinking, wow, this guy makes a difference because he's direct, he goes at players, and he's getting crosses in, and he's gonna be a threat. But I think the way Ten Hag's looking at it is like, Anthony's my number 1 guy on the right hand side.
Right.
I've got Ahmad on loan, who I'm probably going to have number 2 as next season. He's forcing Alanga out because he's even said in the comments, like, he's not showing the quality, the composure, and things like that. And on the left, Ten Hag's got Sancho, Rashford, and Garnacho that he plays. So I don't think he's thinking in his head for next season, I don't really have a place for this guy. I love Anthony. He's my guy from Ajax. Garnacho's, forcing through on the left, and he's putting pressure on Sancho. We can't sell him because we bought him for so much. He's got the bags of potential. I think he's trying to force Palestri out. I'm not saying that he doesn't like him, but he just thinks in my squad, do I have a place for him? I could get some money for him. He's a guy that you can sell. Like McTominay's a guy that you can sell. We can't sell someone like Maguire because he's got high wages and all that. Same with Sancho. He's got huge high wages. We bought him for. So I think that's what he's thinking.
Do you think? I think I'm not sure about that. It's the first time I've heard this kind of talk. But I do think Pellistri a good player. I do think he's got an opportunity to be on the cusp of the first team. I was listening to an interview with Luke Chadwick the other day, and he was saying, "Yeah, when I've got into the Man United team, I had electric pace, and it's what really made me effective. And the manager liked me, but he played a season, and then he was in and around the first team squad, and then then he had an injury, and he lost a yard of pace, and it was recognisable. He said that yard of pace stopped me from being a top player. And the manager said to me, "Sorry, we have to let you go because you're on the cusp of the team, but you're not going to be a first team around here." So he let the man go. This is Luke Chadwick. We know from before, back
Nothing
in the
to
day.
do with his teeth or his looks.
No, nothing to do with his face. Sure. He wasn't scaring their kids, but like Ian Dowie. But that's the thing. It's so crucial, isn't it? When you're trying to get into the first team and you're trying to get in favour of the manager, people have opinions, don't they? So sometimes you might have a reputation, or people might have already formed an opinion of you. And it's hard for managers to change their opinion of you. It's very hard because managers stubborn, managers don't want to show any weaknesses sometimes.
Yeah.
And young players, like Pellistri, he's in a difficult situation right now because he knows he's good. He knows he's talented. He plays for his flipping country.
Yeah.
So he's very good. He is good. We've seen him. We've seen him now. Most fans have seen Pellistri play. So I do think, and people say, "Oh, Ajax, the young players coming through there, Ten Hag would incorporate the same thing here." But Ten Hag's difference is here. Ten Hag's got a budget. He can actually buy players he wants, and he knows as well. He's not about that anymore. About development. It's about results.
Yeah,
it's about results. You have to be winning something at Manchester United. Now he can get away with this season, but we have to be getting higher up in the league. So we don't have a B team, or so this guy is touch and go with Pellistri, unfortunately. And like I said, Ahmad, then have a look at him in pre-season and all this kind of thing, and then look at other players as well to fill that slot. But yeah, it's really tough being a professional footballer, and I think it would be such a shame to see young talent like that move on and go somewhere else. I'm just going to
had Garnacho not come through, Pellistri would have had a place on left back. I've just named 5 guys, wingers. Like, he's not going to get a place, and we could sell him for a bit of money.
All right, just going to go through the last few comments here, guys. Away, we're not ruthless enough. We were discussing that just now. Finishing teams off and getting behind, we start to drop our shoulders. Squad depth will help. So there's another squad depth thing there. Emma's saying here, Martial doesn't look fit right now. Michael's saying Sancho won't be a regular next season. If we could get 50 million, he would sell him. Jeff's saying here, Jeff, tell Jeff what you were doing out in the States.
I was coaching. I was coaching from age 4 to age 18. So I had academy teams like under 16, under 18, and under 14s. Okay. And it was a lot of pressure because every game that I was coaching, all the parents were watching me. I had to always liaise with the parents. I had to send emails about match reports and things like that. I had to answer them privately. People would be like, "Why is my son not playing this and that?" So it's very hard to keep everyone happy.
So that's the culture out in the States.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I hope you got. Where were you? Pennsylvania?
I was in New Hampshire first, then New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay. Jeff saying, "I'm never worried about the parents." Jeff's out in the States right now. Stop making stuff up, please. It's embarrassing, says Emma. I'm better than Elanga, says Zoe Media House. So obviously he thinks forward. So I'm talking about Pellistri. Pellistri might be terrible in training or shit in training, and he's a kid. Stop making up stuff. Okay. Jim saying here, it's about time our transfer policy benefited the team rather than the share price. Zoe saying here, think we should know by now, know who the new owners are by the end of the week. I think it's Friday, tomorrow, isn't it? I heard today, funnily enough, that Ratcliffe was saying giving 20% to the Glazers and to offering a structured deal with 20% to the Glazers, which won't make people happy. Yes, Emma, but you are funny. Jim Mack saying sell Pellistri, McTominay, Maguire, Elanga, and Sancho maybe. And it's also the effing Premier League where kids get bulldozed if they're not ready. That's true. it's tough, isn't it? I think here's a good one. I think Pelestri is maybe a year behind Garnacho in terms of getting first team football, says Brian. We also don't know what his attitude like behind closed doors. That's a good point. I totally agree. And Jeff saying here, he coached under 17s, under 19s, faced the same thing. Really strange that we don't, over in the UK, I wouldn't, parent, I mean, I talk to you, whatever, but you don't emails? I mean, please.
Well, the problem is the parents are paying for this. So they want a service. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had the same thing here when I was doing Players First.
Yeah.
The parents are watching and they're paying. So it's really tough. You have to try and keep everyone happy. And it's all, again, it's about the development at that age. It's not always about results. I like to have results. And sometimes I don't want to play a certain player. But for everyone's development, I have to try new positions and give them the playing time and give them that experience.
But with Players First, that's ex-academy players, isn't it, that you try to recruit and get back into clubs, isn't it? Just tell us about that quickly.
Yeah. So some players that might have been at professional clubs and got released, and then we'll try to get them back in, train them up 6 months, and then try and get them another trial. Some of them have never been on a trial before, just getting them from grassroots and then developing them into better players, and then getting them trials somewhere else. And we have to have categories. We can't just say everyone goes to QPR, one of the top ones. You know, we had lower teams. We had Oxford and things like that, like Stevenage, as low as that. And even as low as the semi-pro route if they didn't make it by 16, because if you're not there by 16, we send them down the semi-pro route.
I've seen that Trent Arnold is setting up his little sort of Players First academy as well, because he said he knows how difficult it is. A lot of his young friends who've not made it pro sort of fall off the way, don't they? They really fall off and don't come out of the game for years and lose their ability and talent. There's only a small window, isn't it, to play in football? And we're from 16 onwards. It's really intense, isn't it?
It's hard. And I just think even the ones now, you've seen my boys play, they're pretty outstanding for their age. But even them, they're having trouble with the semi-pro route because they're good enough to play at the level. But because the managers need results now, they don't want to take a young 19-year-old in and give him playing time. And they'll rather bring in a next player that they know, Steve from 5 years ago, you know. There's so much politics in it as well. So it's difficult, man.
Just Jeff here from the States, he's saying, pay to play. I had a lot of scholarship players in underprivileged areas, so parents didn't have to as much say, but club emails were brutal. Same thing, yeah. I totally agree. So you understand what Ten Hag's under here, don't you? The pressure about bringing players in. There's a pressure at Manchester United to deliver. And you, obviously, the way you're coaching is about development. But I think now Ten Hag's at a club where it's about results and delivering. So there's a fine balance about giving opportunities to players when you're going to be dropping points and losing games when you're not going to win titles. He hasn't got time to do that. And I think he realizes that he has to really be disciplined with what he's doing right now going forward. Guys, we appreciate all your comments tonight. Unfortunately, it was a 2-2 draw. We went off a bit topic, really talking about the issues that maybe club managers might have at all levels of the game. Last couple here, just saying here that Zoe's saying, imagine Pelestri and Garnacho with 2 seasons of experience. The way they have both had cameo appearances, I'm happy with that. Finally, Emma saying here, last season, this would have been a game we would have lost from the kickoff. Spurs coming from a horror result, and something to prove. And we have come a long way since. So it's always positive from Emma. Brian saying here, similar thing with the class that's 92. We all know the 6 players that made it, but the ones that didn't make it never recovered, isn't it? That's the story, like I was saying with for example.
A pro career.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard to move on like that. But anyway, big up, bro. I know it's late. We have to go to bed. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you press the like button. And we're back, obviously, tomorrow. We got a game on the weekend. We are playing Aston Villa. We owe them because they're climbing. They're the form team right now, aren't they? So another tough game, but we're at home. And thankfully not away anymore, so we'll be okay, hopefully. But from us at the Man United Agenda, appreciate all you guys. We're going to sign out. Thanks, bro, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.